For 6 years, I paid my parents' property taxes. Every single year, I wrote that check without hesitation because I believed that is what a good son does. I thought my sacrifice meant something. I thought they saw how much I loved them. My wife Harper stood by my side through all of it, supporting every decision I made for my family. But then came the Thanksgiving that changed everything. The moment my parents told me there was no room for Harper at their table, but her sister's new boyfriend of 3 months was welcome, I realized I had been blind. Before I get into this story, let me know in the comments where you are watching from today. If you believe family should be built on respect, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Now, let me tell you how one holiday destroyed everything I thought I knew about my own parents. My name is Elijah, and I am 34 years old. I work as a software engineer at a company about 45 minutes from my home. I have been married to Harper for 8 years now, and she is the best thing that ever happened to me. But to understand why I made the decision I made, you need to know about my family first. I am the oldest child. My sister Brooke is 6 years younger than me. Growing up, the difference in how our parents treated us was something I noticed but never complained about. Brooke was the baby of the family, and babies get spoiled. That is just how it works, right? At least, that is what I told myself for years. When I was 16, I got my first job at a grocery store. I saved money for my own car, paid for my own gas, and bought my own clothes for school. Meanwhile, Brooke got everything handed to her. New phone every year. Car at 16 as a gift. College tuition paid in full while I took out loans. I never held it against her because I loved my little sister. I figured our parents just had more money by the time she came along, and I was happy she did not have to struggle like I did. After college, I worked hard and built a decent career. I met Harper when I was 25. She was a nurse at the hospital where my mother had a minor surgery. Harper was kind patient and had this warmth about her that made everyone feel comfortable. We dated for 2 years before I proposed, and we got married when I was 27. 6 years ago, my father Donald had to retire early. He was 62 at the time, and his health was not what it used to be. Years of working in construction had worn down his back and knees. My mother Maureen had always been a homemaker, so when Dad stopped working, their income dropped significantly. They owned their house outright, no mortgage, but property taxes in their county were steep. About $4,800 every year. One evening, my father called me. I could hear the shame in his voice as he explained they were struggling to pay the property taxes. They had already used most of their savings for medical bills, and Social Security was barely covering their monthly expenses. Without even thinking twice, I told him I would take care of it. From that year forward, I paid their property taxes myself. $4,800 a year for 6 years. That is nearly $29,000 total. Harper and I had to adjust our own plans because of this. We pushed back buying a bigger house. We skipped vacations. We delayed starting a family. But I never complained because they were my parents, and I believed taking care of them was my responsibility. Harper supported me completely. She never once questioned why we were sacrificing so much for my parents. Instead, she tried her best to build a relationship with them. She called my mother every Sunday to check in. She remembered every birthday and anniversary with thoughtful gifts. During holidays, she would spend hours in the kitchen cooking dishes she knew my parents liked. She genuinely wanted to be part of the family. But my mother Maureen never fully accepted her. The signs were subtle at first. Maureen would sometimes call Harper by the wrong name even after years of marriage. She would forget to set a place for Harper at family dinners until Harper awkwardly reminded her. When Harper cooked, Maureen never complimented the food. Not once. Instead, she would say things like, "Elijah's college girlfriend used to make the best pot roast," right in front of Harper. I noticed these things, but I made excuses. I told myself my mother was just old-fashioned. I told myself she would warm up eventually. I told myself time would fix everything. I was wrong. 3 months before that fateful Thanksgiving, Brooke introduced us to her new boyfriend, Tyler. He was 31, worked in real estate, and had this polished look about him. Expensive watch designer clothes, perfect hair. He smiled a lot and said all the right things. My parents were instantly charmed. Within weeks, they treated Tyler like he was already part of the family. My father would call him to chat about sports. My mother invited him over for dinners even when Brooke was busy. They talked about Tyler constantly, about his job, his ambitions, his wonderful personality. Meanwhile, Harper, who had been in their lives for 8 years, remained invisible to them. I thought it was strange, but I was happy for Brooke. She had been through a rough breakup the year before, and I wanted her to find happiness. I had no idea that Tyler would become the catalyst for the biggest fallout our family had ever seen. The phone call came on a Tuesday evening in early November. I was driving home from work when my mother's name flashed on my screen. I answered with the usual greeting, expecting a casual conversation about Thanksgiving plans. We always spent Thanksgiving at my parents' house. It was tradition. "Elijah, I need to talk to you about Thanksgiving," my mother said. Her tone was different, careful, like she was choosing her words deliberately. "Sure, Mom. What time do you want us there? Harper is already planning what to bring." There was a pause, a long one. "Well, that is actually what I wanted to discuss. This year we are going to have a full house. Your aunt and uncle are coming, and Brooke is bringing Tyler. We have been thinking, and we just do not have enough room for everyone." I felt a strange sensation in my stomach. "What do you mean you do not have enough room?" "We have limited seating, honey, and Tyler is new to the family. We want him to feel welcome. We thought maybe Harper could sit this one out. Just this once. She has been to so many Thanksgivings already. She will understand." I pulled my car over to the side of the road. I could not drive and process what I was hearing at the same time. "Mom, are you telling me my wife is not invited to Thanksgiving, but Brooke's boyfriend of 3 months is—" "Do not say it like that, Elijah. You are making it sound worse than it is. Harper is already family. She does not need to prove anything. Tyler is a guest, and guests get priority. That is just common courtesy." I sat there in silence, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. 8 years. Harper had been trying to be accepted for 8 years, and now she was being pushed aside for a man my sister had known for 90 days. "Mom, please think about this. Harper has never missed a family Thanksgiving. She is my wife." "Elijah, the decision is made. I am sorry if you are upset, but we cannot change the seating arrangements now. If you want to come alone, you are welcome, but we simply cannot accommodate Harper this year." She hung up before I could respond. That night I called my father. I thought surely he would see reason. Surely he would talk to Mom and fix this. "Dad, did Mom tell you about Thanksgiving?" "She did." His voice was flat distant. "And you are okay with this, with excluding Harper?" "Elijah, your mother has made the decision. I am not going to argue with her over seating arrangements. You need to grow up and stop making everything about yourself." This is not about me, Dad. This is about my wife being treated like she does not matter. You know what, son, you have been helping us out financially, and we appreciate that. But do not think that gives you the right to dictate how we run our household. That money does not buy you control over this family. His words hit me like a punch to the chest. I had never once used my financial support as leverage. I had never asked for anything in return. And now he was accusing me of trying to buy influence in the family. Dad, I never said anything about the money. I just want my wife to be treated with respect. Respect is earned, Elijah. Maybe if Harper tried harder to fit in, things would be different. I could not believe what I was hearing. Harper had tried harder than anyone. She had bent over backward for years, trying to earn their approval. And it was never enough. I hung up without saying goodbye. When I got home, Harper was in the kitchen preparing dinner. She took one look at my face and knew something was wrong. I sat her down and told her everything. About the phone call with my mother, about my father's response, about how they had chosen Tyler over her. Harper did not yell. She did not cry. She just sat there quietly absorbing the blow. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm but filled with sadness. I have tried so hard, Elijah. 8 years. I thought eventually they would accept me. I guess I was fooling myself. Harper, I am so sorry. I never thought they would do something like this. She reached across the table and took my hand. Listen to me. I do not want you to lose your relationship with your family because of me. If you want to go to Thanksgiving alone, I will understand. I will be okay. Looking at her in that moment, I felt my heart break. Here was this incredible woman who had stood by me through everything, who had sacrificed alongside me for years, and she was still putting my needs above her own. She was willing to be excluded just so I could maintain peace with my parents. But I could not do it. I could not sit at that table knowing my wife was home alone because my family did not think she was worth a seat. If you are not welcome, then neither am I told her. We are a team, Harper. I am not going anywhere without you. 3 days later, my sister Brooke called. I could tell from her tone that she had heard about my decision not to attend. Elijah, Mom told me you are not coming to Thanksgiving. Seriously, you are really going to skip a family holiday over this? Brooke, they told Harper she is not welcome. How would you feel if they did that to Tyler? That is different. Tyler is new. He needs to be introduced to everyone properly. Harper is not new, Brooke. She has been around for 8 years. She has been to every single family event. And suddenly there is no room for her. Look, I get that you are upset, but you are blowing this way out of proportion. Harper should understand. She is a grown woman. She does not need to be at every single thing. But Tyler does. A guy you have known for 3 months. Brooke's voice turned sharp. Tyler is important to me. He could be my future. Mom and Dad are just trying to make him feel included. And what about Harper? Is she not part of our family's future? Honestly, Elijah. Who knows? Marriages end all the time. At least Tyler is here now. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, trying to process what my sister had just said. She had essentially dismissed my 8-year marriage as temporary, while elevating her 3-month relationship as something more significant. That night, I lay awake for hours. I kept replaying the conversations in my head. My mother's casual dismissal, my father's accusation, my sister's cruel words. These were the people I had sacrificed for. These were the people I had given nearly $30,000 to over 6 years. And this was how they saw me, how they saw my wife. Something inside me shifted that night, something fundamental. Thanksgiving morning arrived cold and gray. Harper and I stayed home. She made a small meal for just the two of us, and we ate quietly at our kitchen table. It was peaceful in a sad kind of way. We watched movies and tried not to think about what was happening at my parents' house. Then Brooke posted pictures on social media. The first photo showed the dining room table decorated beautifully with fall colors and candles. Everyone was smiling. My aunt and uncle, my parents, Brooke and Tyler. And there was Tyler sitting in the chair I had occupied every Thanksgiving for my entire adult life. He looked comfortable, happy, like he belonged. The second photo was a group shot. Everyone huddled together in front of the fireplace. My mother had her arm around Tyler like he was her own son. My father was laughing at something Tyler said. The third post was from my mother, a long status thanking everyone for making this Thanksgiving so special and expressing gratitude that the whole family could be together. Not a single mention of me or Harper. Not one word acknowledging that we were missing. I showed the pictures to Harper. She looked at them silently, then closed my phone and handed it back to me. "I'm sorry, Elijah," she whispered. "I know how much this hurts." But I was not just hurt. I was furious. After everything I had done for them, I had been erased. We had been erased. 2 days after Thanksgiving, I received an unexpected phone call. It was my Uncle Ray, my father's younger brother. Uncle Ray had always been the quiet one in the family, observing more than speaking. He was 65 now and had seen decades of family dynamics play out. "Elijah, I noticed you were not at Thanksgiving. Wanted to check in on you." "Thanks, Uncle Ray. I assume you heard what happened." "I did. And I have to tell you, son, I have been watching how your parents treat you and Harper for years now. It is not right. Never has been." Hearing those words from someone in my family felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Finally, someone else saw it. "I did not want to cause problems," I said. "I just could not sit there knowing Harper was deliberately excluded. And you should not have to. Listen, Elijah, I know you have been helping your parents out financially, paying their property taxes all these years. That is a big sacrifice, and I am not sure they have ever truly appreciated it. Apparently not. Here is what I want to tell you, and you can take it or leave it. Respect is a two-way street. If they do not give it, you do not owe it. Loving your family does not mean letting them walk all over you." That conversation stayed with me for days. I started thinking about the past 6 years. Every check I had written. Every sacrifice Harper and I had made. The house we did not buy. The vacations we did not take. The future we kept postponing. All so my parents could keep their home without financial stress. And, in return, my wife was treated like an outsider. I was treated like an ATM with no feelings. My contributions were seen as obligations, not generosity. I made a decision. It was not made in anger, though anger was certainly there. It was made with clarity. I would no longer pay my parents' property taxes. I spent an entire evening composing an email to my parents. I wanted to be clear and direct without being cruel. I explained that after much reflection I had decided to discontinue my financial support for their property taxes starting the following year. I explained that this decision was not about punishment, but about prioritizing my own family. My wife, who had been excluded, and the life we were trying to build together. I stated that I hoped they could find alternative arrangements and that I wished them well. I did not mention the specific incidents. I did not accuse them of anything. I simply laid out my decision and the reasoning behind it. I sent the email and turned off my phone. The response came 48 hours later like a flood. My phone exploded with missed calls and text messages. My father left a voicemail calling me an ungrateful son. He said I was abandoning my family over petty drama. My mother sent a long text message filled with guilt and accusations. She said she never thought I could be so heartless. She said I was destroying the family. Brooke sent the longest message of all. She accused me of being selfish, vindictive, and cruel. She said I was punishing our parents for a simple seating arrangement. She said I was tearing the family apart over my own ego. Not one of them mentioned Harper. Not one of them acknowledged that the reason I was withdrawing support was because my wife had been deliberately excluded. They focused entirely on the consequences without examining the cause. I read every message, then blocked all their numbers for 1 week. I needed space to breathe, space to think. 6 months passed. Spring arrived, and with it came a letter from the county tax office addressed to my parents. They had not paid their property taxes. The letter warned that if payment was not received within 90 days, penalties would begin accumulating. Continued non-payment could eventually result in a tax lien auction. My mother called me from a different number, one I had not blocked. She was frantic, nearly hysterical. "Elijah, we got a letter from the county. They are saying we owe back taxes. There are going to be penalties. What are we supposed to do?" I listened to her panic and I felt something I had not expected. Not satisfaction, but a strange sadness. Sadness that it had come to this. "Mom, I told you in my email that I would not be paying the taxes anymore. I meant it. But we cannot afford it. Your father is on a fixed income. We do not have that kind of money." "Then you need to find another solution. Maybe Brooke and Tyler can help. He works in real estate, right? He must be doing well." There was silence on the other end. "The county does not care about family drama, Mom. They just want their money. I suggest you figure something out soon." I hung up. It was the hardest phone call I had ever made. The weeks following that phone call were difficult. Despite everything, I felt guilty. These were still my parents. I had spent my whole life trying to be a good son. Cutting off support felt like a betrayal of who I was. Harper saw me struggling. She would find me staring out the window at night, lost in thought. She never pushed me to talk, but she was always there when I needed her. "You did the right thing," she told me one evening. I know it does not feel like it now, but setting boundaries is not the same as abandoning people. You are protecting yourself. You are protecting us. Slowly, I began to see the truth in her words. The guilt started to fade, replaced by something I had not felt in years. Freedom. I no longer carried the weight of their expectations. I no longer measured my worth by their approval. Harper and I used the money we saved to finally take a vacation. We went to the coast for a week, just the two of us walking on the beach eating seafood, watching sunsets. It was the first real vacation we had taken in 6 years. Uncle Ray remained in contact. He told me that my decision had sent shockwaves through the extended family. Some relatives thought I was justified. Others thought I was being harsh. But my uncle said something important had happened. People were finally talking about how my parents had always favored Brooke. The pattern that I had accepted for so long was now visible to everyone. 8 months after Thanksgiving, Brooke and Tyler broke up. It turned out Tyler was not as wonderful as he seemed. He had been seeing someone else the entire time. Brooke was devastated, and my parents were shocked. The man they had welcomed so warmly, the man they had prioritized over my wife, had turned out to be exactly what many predicted. Temporary. As for my parents, they eventually had to sell a portion of their land to pay off the back taxes and penalties. It was a difficult decision for them, but it was the consequence of their choices. They stopped calling to criticize me. The angry messages dried up, but they also did not apologize. Not once. A year after everything happened, my mother sent me a short text message on my birthday. It said, "Happy birthday, Elijah." That was all. No apology. No acknowledgement of what had happened. Just 3 words. I replied with a simple "thank you" and left it at that. I have learned a lot from this experience. I learned that loving your family does not mean accepting mistreatment. I learned that sacrifice only has meaning when it is respected. I learned that setting boundaries is not selfish. It is necessary for survival. I do not hate my parents. I do not wish them harm. But I also do not pretend that everything is fine. Some wounds take a long time to heal, and some never heal completely. Harper and I are doing well. We bought a bigger house last year. We are talking about starting a family soon. The life we postponed for so long is finally becoming reality. I do not know what the future holds for my relationship with my parents. Maybe one day they will apologize. Maybe one day we will find a way to rebuild what was broken. Or maybe we will remain distant, connected by blood but separated by choices. What I do know is this. I chose the person who chose me. Harper has stood by me through everything. She has loved me without conditions, supported me without resentment, and forgiven my family more times than they deserved. She is my family now. She is my priority. There's a saying I came across recently that perfectly captures what I have learned. Blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. My parents may have given me life, but Harper gave me a reason to live it fully. And in the end, that is what matters most. So I ask you this. Have you ever had to set boundaries with people you love? Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping your self-respect? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like. If you want to hear more stories like this, hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope you find the courage to protect the people and the life that truly matter to you. Take care of yourselves, and remember you deserve to be treated with respect by everyone, including your family.